Hi everyone, welcome. This is Senior Scientist, and thought I would bring you another update. Now, I'm not. I didn't post a video for a little while, and it's just simply because I was waiting. So waiting for this process to be over. And if you're wondering, it looks like it is over, but it may take a couple days still to get out of this, and then we'll get above that previous local high. So I wanted to share with you what I've been watching. And if you have been following me at all, you know that I am a big fan of Wyckoff. And I constantly encourage people to just take 10 minutes, look up Wyckoff accumulation, and read it for yourself. And that those who are doing TA and they never mention Wyckoff are at a severe disadvantage. In fact, I would argue that they're not. It surprises me, I guess, because it's such a useful tool to understand a little bit what's going on. And the more I study Wyckoff, the more you start to see it. And Wyckoff can be at various scales, even within the scale. So there was a video I did many months ago. It was even last year. And what I showed was Wyckoff accumulation on Bitcoin Cash, more specifically, but a lot of these coins, they all have Wyckoff accumulation. In other words, there's big players within them all. And how the entire chart follows Wyckoff accumulation, where we can identify certain features there, such as, some of the biggies, just kind of give you an idea. So we've got this sell-off, selling climax down here. Got the automatic rally here. Okay. And then we have this, like all this is accumulation phase. And we come down, we have secondary test. This is now in phase B. I detailed this another time. I can't go through it right now because I don't remember exactly what I did. But the bottom line is that, this here is what we call the shakeout or the spring test. Sorry. It's this area that dropped below everything else. And you wonder, I thought this was the trading region up here. Why did this drop down so low over the last couple of years? Again, this is on the entire chart of Bitcoin Cash. Well, if you understand Wyckoff, you see Wyckoff in the entire chart pattern, which is pretty dang encouraging in some sense, knowing that the entire chart follows Wyckoff, and we're going to be setting new all-time highs. And yet another reason why I think we could hit 50,000. Oh, 50,000, you say, with Bitcoin Cash? I did say that. I've been saying that because the chart supports that. Not only do we have Wyckoff, but we also have it following this ABC corrective pattern. I shared this in a previous video. I'm just going to go through it again. A, B on the up, C on the down. And now it looks like we may be coming up and possibly breaking out of this downtrend here, this line here. I mean, you wonder why the previous bull rally, do we only go up there and touch there? Well, two reasons. One, Wyckoff accumulation on the major scale. I guess you wouldn't have known it back there, but now it's pretty evident because we had this drop below that trading region, right? And now it becomes a little more obvious with the various features. You can go and line up the chart of Wyckoff and identify every single one. And probably didn't know going into this bull run that we were in an A, B, C correction. Okay, so what comes after this, and why are we going up right now? Because we are going to be going above this and above this. All right, so this time around is different. Now we have more information to go off of. We can confidently say A, B, C. Okay, now could it be a D and an E? Sure it could, except for that would now not make any sense when it comes to Wyckoff. Because we see Wyckoff, and because we do see an ABC at least, right? That I can say with confidence that we're not going to continue this corrective pattern down to a D, an E, or an XY, or however you want to call it on Elliott wave theory, because Elliott wave theory comes second to Wyckoff, completely second, in fact. So with that said, we have Wyckoff on the overall, on the weekly. When it comes to the overall chart, we have it on the daily. In other words, Wyckoff accumulation is also here, where we have the sell-off, selling climax, automatic rally, come down, secondary test. Okay, looks like maybe another secondary test. Come up, dissolve, phase B, come down. We have a spring. That is phase C. This goes up. This is coming down now, showing sign of strength on top of this previous trading region. And that is phase D. And now we've left phase D here. Come up now. Had a little bit of a pullback. And now we're in phase E. In phase E, if you think of the bull run starts technically, according to Wyckoff, back in phase C, Charlie. So this area, we're down here, we're coming up phase C. That's technically the start of the bull run. And if you want to think of the bull run in 3 parts, that would be part 1, and this would be part 2. This sign of strength here, that's phase D. So we went from phase C to phase D, and now we're in just starting phase E, which can last however long it lasts. There's no time limit to it, but phase E, Echo, is where the real wealth is built, according to Wyckoff. And so this is now the start of, I think, what a lot of people would call the bull run. And it looks like we are kind of just beginning maybe some kind of, whether it goes parabolic or not, I don't know. But maybe over the long range. And that could take us into, the end of the year, early 2025. I don't know how long it's going to last. But we're in the 3 of 3 phases of the bull run. The last phase of the bull run we have now entered in. But this is where things finally get exciting. And this is kind of what, you want to get into. So we're still at the beginning of that. Still a good time to get in. Anybody who's gotten in, even if you bought in here, you're just fine. Just wait. Because I want to show you what's taking place now on a smaller scale. Now we're going to go to the 4-hourly. Oh, and guess what we have again? Wyckoff. And you say, well, I thought you said Wyckoff on the entire chart. Yeah, I did. And Wyckoff on the daily. Yes. And there's Wyckoff on the 4-hourly. Yes. So within the Wyckoff phase, Wyckoff accumulation can happen on any time scale within those phases even. And so here, I'll even show you. So let's look here. I even asked this to ChatGPT. Yes, Wyckoff accumulation patterns can occur on various time scales, including within smaller time frames within the overall pattern. For instance, the daily scale accumulation phase, there could be smaller scale phases or patterns occurring on hourly or even minute charts as the chart price action consolidates and establishes support levels before continuing its upward movement. All right, so just wanted to share that with you. And so what do we have? If you go to Wyckoff accumulation, again, we've got our sell-off, automatic rally, secondary test, and I think this is a secondary test in phase B, where it dropped again. And then we have our spring. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to go back to Wyckoff. Okay, so we've got our trading region. It's somewhere around there. And it dropped below that. So that's like, in fact, I would even argue this is the trading region here. And all this was to shake out any remaining retail investors. So the markup continues, but they'll pull back and they're testing supply in here. So in other words, what they're doing is these big money manipulators who have quite the control, they are able to dump coins, drive the price lower. Okay, so they have to take effort. They sell, drive the price down. Okay, and what they're doing is they're looking at the volume. Okay, so what they'll see is volume increasing here. In other words, retailers are getting scared, and so they're selling. So then they start buying it back up, price comes back up, and they're accumulating through here. Okay, and then these secondary tests, what they're doing then is providing a little effort again, and they have all their little mathematics, and again, all this is probably controlled by a computer algorithm running in the background somewhere, but they'll do a secondary test here. So they'll put in effort again, and then they'll test what did the volume do. And as they do these little tests down here, drop the price again, they're watching volume, because that will determine what's the supply? What's the supply like? And so if they are able to drop price, so in other words, eventually they come all the way down here, right? And they're basically matching that level that they already did. So they know the amount of effort it took to get down there and the amount of supply as a result of that. So when they do it again and there's less volume on the second time, that means there's not that supply there anymore. And then as they start going up, they see retailers starting to come in. And so now let's go with the price. So they've gotten everything they can basically out of these zones from what they call weak investors, and which is kind of a stupid term, but it is. They're doing this intentionally, and that's why you got to follow Wyckoff, because he identifies all the things to look for within this. And so I'll show you Wyckoff accumulation, and just check out this chart. So where did I have it here? Here. Okay. So here's Wyckoff. Check out this chart. Let's see if you have. Let's do this. Where are you? Where are you, chart? Here we go. Nope. Everton. Oh, here he is. Okay. So what I'm going to do actually is just take a screenshot of this. And then I'm going to go back and do a screenshot of this. Let me delete that. Okay. And we'll go through a level here in just a second. Okay. Boom. So now you can see I can flip back and forth real quick when I do these screenshots. Okay, so there's BCH on the 4-hourly. Here's Wyckoff. All right, so again, you can just see how this thing matches. So I'm just going to draw the shapes instead of going through all the different SCAR, all that stuff. But basically, we have the selling. See how it kind of comes up in one hump, then another, and then it drops below that. Okay, all right, so let's go back. Sell off. Looks like one hump, another, and it drops way below that. So I'm just going to show you there. You could pretty much line that chart up on here, couldn't you? Maybe if you had just ignore all this stuff. And so all you see is that drop right there. Okay. In fact, I'll do this. Pump that. Oop. Okay. But anyway, you see that? And so anyway, we dropped there. And so what can we expect now moving forward? Well, the next step in this is to show a sign of strength above the previous trading region. And so my guess is we'll probably do that for a day. And that sign of strength, again, is it's another test of the supply. Okay. So basically, as you're seeing that, they're accumulating still. And so we'll see this come up above here, oops, didn't draw that tight enough, above here, and then it should show a sign of strength. So do you see even on this how we came up and right here? Do you see how we have that little support right there? I did that right there. Do you see that? Keep your eyes on that. All right, so that came up. I'll just show you that same feature on Wyckoff, just so you can kind of understand that we are following Wyckoff on a smaller scale as well. So that is this LPS. Last point of support basically matches there. We get above that previous trading region, which on the 4 hourly there, and then we do a little sign of support, and then we can continue on. Okay, and get out and go set a new local high. All right, so if you, I don't know when you're watching this, but this will likely come up here and do a little dance. I don't know how long. It doesn't have to be long. And it can show signs of support all throughout, right? And then we should start going up. Now, what's the immediate target on this? I don't know. There are no set rules on that. But given what we've done before in Wyckoff, we usually do from this high here down to the bottom of the shakeout or the spring. I mean, how many people got afraid when it dropped down there, huh? Both times. How many people wanted to sell right there? Or maybe you did sell and you had to buy back in up here. How many people wanted to sell to here and thought, oh no, you know, before the green on the red, how many people thought we were going to come back down? Oh, and by the way, just so you know, I did sell right here. And guess where I bought? I bought back in and actually made a lot of money doing that. I'm not going to do that anymore, though. It was way too risky because I bought in at right about here. Pretty crazy, huh? I wicked it. Oh, man, that felt good, but I'm not doing that anymore. It was way too stressful. Way too stressful because I had to wait all this out, and I wasn't sure. I just had a feeling. And, yep, I wicked it. Anyway, it was just, that was with some play money. Not all of it. I just wanted to try to see if, okay, can I nail it? And it wasn't about the money. It was about trying to see if I could pick up on what it was doing. So, yeah, target level. So other times from that peak to that low, previously on a daily scale, we did about a 3 to a 4, 6, 1, 8. So the 3, 6, 1, 8, 800, 4, 6, 1, 8, 928. So just based off of that, again, we're kind of going to that target area I identified before. So getting up there pretty close. But again, to get up there, I don't think it's going to be just a one straight shot. I think it will be pretty quick, but it may take, a couple weeks to finally get up there. Maybe. We'll see. But the bottom line is, rest assured, we're going up. Oh, and did you see the news? If you're still with me, check this out. Did you see the news? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Coinbase to launch Doge futures says it transcends meme coins. But that's not all. Look at this one below it. Right there. Coinbase to launch futures trading for Dogecoin, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash on April 1st. Huh. Isn't that weird? Eh? Look at that. I mean, they highlight 3 coins. Litecoin, Grayscale LTCN, which, by the way, killing it. Love it. Thank you, Ethan Galstad. Man, I know it did drop quite a bit, but man, LTCN, I got to admit, the chart itself is insanely impressive. So is BCHG. I will say BCH looks better than LTC, but LTCN way better than BCHG. They're the same chart pattern, but when you look at the percentages for the targets, LTCN blows it away. But I've got both. So, and Doge. Isn't that cool? Isn't that something? So that's Coinbase. And Coinbase is ginormous here in the US, people. That's what I use. That's what I think everybody in the US uses for the most part. So, yeah. And I laugh and chuckle at that because we've been talking about how we're going up here anyway, and it's like the news follows the chart. You just can't make that stuff up. So in my opinion, I mean, this is because we have Wyckoff everywhere. I think that what am I trying to say is that it's manipulated, right? And news then is used to give people a reason so they don't have to believe or see the manipulation, which is strange because I don't care that I see the manipulation. I think it's actually wonderful because it's predictable. So big money, smart money. I know you're taking a lot of people's money. Fine. I just want to be along for the ride. So keep doing what you're doing. And big money, smart money, I'm all for your manipulation. Just keep doing what you're doing. And keep marking that price up. Because, and I know you're going to drop and scare the living crap out of me and scare the living crap out of everybody else. And you may get me to sell and try to buy a wick. But keep doing what you're doing. But that's my opinion. And you see that, like, did you ever watch the movie, The Imitation Game, I think it's called, with Turing, and the where he built a computer, and helped break the code of Enigma during World War II. And then at the end, once they were able to break the code or break Enigma, they had plotted all the ships and everything else, and then he had to. It was so top secret. He went and met with the guy from, what was it, like MI6 or something, and he said, "How do you expect to pull this off?" And he said, "Well, we'll use statistics so that the Germans will never catch wind that we've broken Enigma, but we'll do the absolute minimum to win the war, and the absolute maximum, or what was it? The absolute maximum to win the war, or no, excuse me. Anyway, he said that they're going to do everything using statistics so that they could do the most without the Germans becoming knowledgeable that they had cracked Enigma, and the least amount of effort it would take to win the war." And then, here's where I'm getting to. He said to the MI6 person, "And you can come up with reasons how we were successful in each attack." They knew where all the boats were. They knew they'd be successful. But to disguise the fact that they had cracked and the code and broke Enigma, MI6 would come up and spin lies and give a reason for why they were successful in the battle. And my point is that in order to disguise the fact that there is manipulation, they give you a reason for why the price is going up. And that's what I think news is, if you follow me. But it doesn't matter. I like news. I do read news, and I do get excited about it. So I'm wrapped up in that too. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing anybody can do about it, except for read Wyckoff, identify it. This has been going on since the very beginning of all stocks. All stocks. Everything. You can find this stuff. So, yeah, we're going up. Pack your bags. Choo-choo. Yeah, so if you ever get discouraged, or you think maybe I bought in and you got a lot of money invested and you're not sure, and maybe we're waiting, some other coins are pumping, You think, okay, I'm just going to jump into some of the other coins. Nothing wrong with that, right? But be for me, like, it's always good to go back to Wyckoff, and then you look at the chart and you say, well, Wyckoff's all over this thing, of course we're going up. So you're worried, and you hear, oh, Bitcoin Cash is going to zero. You get all these weird people, which I think, by the way, I think a lot of these people are paid, or they're bots or something. My comments, I mean, they're crazy. They're asinine. I don't even know. These people don't have like profiles, like they have a picture, or maybe they have like some playlist that is all these other random videos put on there. And they say really divisive things. And I don't know if that's just a sign of our culture today, where we think that there's anonymity behind the internet and you can say and do whatever you want. I see that in sports all the time too. I was just mentioning with a coworker or a colleague of mine, how it's crazy to see these adults at sports games, how they think they can do whatever they want. We go to baseball games and you got adults stealing baseballs from kids and stuff when it gets knocked into the crowd. It is like, we can be as selfish and mean as possible, yelling at the players, yelling at the officials. And it's like, no, man, these are real people. And you don't get a pass when you're at a sports game. You don't get a pass when you're on the internet and you're some kid or whatever. You don't get a pass to disrespect anyone. And that's going to come back to you. And you may not even think that. You may scoff at it. That's a problem with your own belief. So it's not on me. It's on you. You can, but I just I don't know if all these people are real. I think that these bots are. It's funny because whenever I started talking about Bitcoin Cash, that's when they really started coming out, and you wonder why. Why are these people so? Why again? I don't even think they're people. Why is there push to discredit Bitcoin Cash amongst all the others? Because I don't get it on the others. And I think it's simply because Bitcoin Cash they have big plans. There's big plans for Bitcoin Cash. And I think Bitcoin Cash, it's a chart that is a little different than a lot of the others. And I mean, we're talking going up to 50,000 this cycle, perhaps. And I mean, we're sitting at $430 or whatever. So this one is, I think it could get really exciting. I think it's going to be really exciting once we break through this line. If we come up to about $1,000 or whatever, somewhere around there, and maybe it pulls back, tests that line, which I think it will go pretty quick at that point. So I think there's a lot of volume coming in here now. And then it's off to the races. And one last thing I wanted to say, if you're still with me, there will be this thought that this cycle will be completely different than others. Because of all the money coming in, we're not going to have a crash like we've seen after these other bull runs. Okay? You're going to hear that. You're going to hear that a lot. And you're going to be, so you need to have price levels in mind of where you're going to be going with this bull run. This is just based on my research. But you're going to hear a lot as we start going up. The euphoria starts kicking in and the money is just pouring in. I'm talking a long ways away from now, okay? So I'm not talking now. This isn't something like, okay, you got to keep an eye on it. You do have to keep an eye on it when your account starts going, holy crap. And I don't mean, wow, but I mean, holy crap. I have just pushed myself into 3 levels higher of categories of wealth in society, that type of thing. When that happens, then you'll start hearing more and more the euphoria. It's going to come in like insane emotion. And a lot of people will either get out too early or they get out way too late. Okay. So that's why you need to study Wyckoff. But the too late people, what you're going to hear is that there's so much money now into crypto that we're not going to have these big crashes and bear markets like we've seen in the past. And let me just stop you right there, okay? Because we have Wyckoff, all right? Wyckoff accumulation means that big money bought up at rock bottom prices. Why? Because they're planning to sell at sky high prices. When that happens, there will be a crash. Don't buy into the fact there won't be a crash. I don't care if it's $50 trillion gets pumped in the market. There will be a crash. They're just going to pump prices higher. You don't think they're going to take that money? Of course they will. So in other words, they're not going to sell and, oh, we didn't get a crash and we actually went higher. And these people went, oh, shucks. Shucks, we missed out on all this money. We're the manipulators in all this. We're the smart money. Ah, shucks, we didn't see that coming. We sold too early. No, they're just going to pump the price higher, 50,000, and then we're going to have a crash. Make no mistake about it. All right. Hope you're well. Bye.